Some other tent site selection pointers. Don't put your tent in a ravine or a waterway or anything where water could flow. Of course, in the winter, that's not going to happen. However, if you put your tent in a low spot, that's where cold air is going to settle, and you can make your tent easily 10 degrees colder. I've done it. It's not pleasant, so be mindful. Look at the general geography, and you'll see behind me, this is an uphill area, and that cold air will sink. It will pass right by our tent, be blockaded by the hill there, and it'll slide around there. So that's something to think about is, okay, if there was water everywhere, where would it run? And as long as you're not in a spot where the water would settle, you'll be okay. Up on a hill would be even slightly better, so you have that. But then also you have to think about wind protection. Right now we're in a deep lodgepole forest, so the chance of having real wind driving through here is actually really minimal. It's usually up in the crowns, which is nice, but don't put yourself in a wind tunnel where you think, oh, this is a great spot, but there's a couple of structures where wind could funnel through. Whew, you don't want to do that either. So think about where the air flows, where the wind flows, making sure your site is level, and watching out for any dangers like you can see here. This is called a deadfall or a widowmaker. Do not put your tent anywhere where that could fall down, because the one time the wind shakes and that tree comes down, it could easily damage the tent, easily injure us, if not kill us, because that thing's several hundred pounds, and with skewers of broken branches coming out, oof, don't do the Dracula thing. So always watch to make sure that there is no deadfall around your tent, because that deadfall, that thing's probably 25, 30 feet tall. So when it falls, it's going to strike way over there. So you got to think, oh, we're away from it now. That tip coming down is a lot of power. So it's something to be careful and mindful about. And also look for animal tracks, because if you see a bunch of animal tracks cruising through an area, you might be on an animal trail or path that they always use. Don't camp there, because you'll get a midnight visitor that you probably don't want, and that goes for chipmunks, squirrels, coyotes, elk, bison, moose, wolves that we had a few days ago, and bears. If you, especially you see any bear tracks in the area, you might want to reconsider your tent location, because some bear might think this is a highway and you park the tent on its highway. The bear might bulldoze your tent and say, this is my highway, and you're going to be able to do nothing about that. So definitely watch for those tracks. If you see a lot of tracks, reconsider your tent location before you even start, because that means that place is busy. Small animals can chew into your tent. Big animals can chew into your tent and you don't want to have that happen. So hopefully those few pointers on choosing tent sites are real helpful for all the things of weather, wind, air motion, animal tracks, water flow, deadfalls, snow falling on you. And also, if you camp in beautiful meadows, the last point, did that last night, even though the meadow is just space with no trees, it was cold. It was like minus 20, minus 25, really cold. By camping in the trees, these trees absorb infrared radiation in the day, and they actually re-radiate a tiny bit of heat at night, and it makes a huge difference in the warmth of your campsite. So trees, just like the Hug a Tree program, are your friend, because that little bit of re-radiation makes a big difference in how warm or cold your tent is, or your campsite is. The open spaces are really beautiful, but those are going to be the coldest nights. Plus, if a wind kicks up, you're going to get punished. In the trees, definitely less punishment there. My name's Aaron Linsdau. I'm a polar explorer and professional adventurer. Please like and comment on the video and subscribe to the channel if you found it useful. Check out my link below to Adventure Expedition 1, how to adventure like this. Also my book, How to Keep Your Feet Warm in the Cold. Exactly as it says, over 100 tips to keep your feet warm in the cold. And also my book, How to Camp in the Cold. So that way you have all these ideas and tips that I've given you in this video, plus a lot more. Thank you very much for watching, and enjoy your adventures.